Salvete Spectatores, it's Masopust, welcome back to our tutorial series for EU4, Europa Universalis 4 that is. And as you may remember, we play as Castile. We've just let 2 days pass and there's still so much to explain. Well, let's just start. Let's cover actually the campaign map, the world map. We haven't talked about it. You can see here we have some territory. We are the yellow color. If you don't know what country you are, you can just click here on the diplomatic map mode. It shows you green. Green is you. Now we secured an alliance with Portugal. Alliances are blue. Portugal is blue. We have allied them. There are other colors, but we'll come to that later. Back to the political map mode. It shows us our country. Yellow is every province that is owned by us. We have quite a lot of territory, or clay. I'm gonna call it clay. And if you look exactly, we have also this tiny land here called the Canarias. They're up to today still in the possession of Spain, I think. And they are somewhat far away. They're near Morocco here, in Africa. And Portugal has those two provinces, Azores and Ceuta. No, not Ceuta. What's it called? Ceuta is this territory in Africa. So it is connected from Morocco before the game started. I don't know. I don't know what this country is called. We can't see it actually because it is kinda in the fog of war here. But we'll come to that later too. Okay, let's cover this here. We have two armies. The number below the army shows how many men there are. You have to think 1,002 there. So these are 22,000 men. This is 1,000 men. This is the... oh, whatever. I don't want to pronounce that. And this is the Guardia Real. Ejército de Cantabria. Something around that. If we click the army, we have a menu here that shows us there are 16,000 infantry and 6,000 cavalry in this army. We have a few options what we want to do, but the most time you just issue a movement order. We can issue a movement order in one province that is adjacent. We can issue a movement order to somewhere else and he'll just select the shortest path. And if you want to go to, for instance, Toledo, but you want to go through Soira, you can click on Soira, hold shift, select Madrid, hold shift and select Toledo. He'll go there. If you just select Toledo, he'll go through this province because it's apparently a little bit faster. They can army can only stand in one province like this. He cannot stand here on the corner or something. It's not like Total War where you can move freely in one province. You can stand here or here. You will always stand here. You can't stand here or split the army in one province, whatever. If you want to attack an enemy army, we'll fight a war later, I believe, you can just move into this province, and if the enemy army is in a province, they'll engage in a combat. But combat we'll cover, of course, later. So we just want to, I don't know, combine the two armies, and we order this army here to this one, because this is not really an army. This is one single unit, one regiment here, and they would get annihilated very quickly if we were in a war. So let's unpause. And here you can see, well, this is a little bit back to diplomacy, that is. This is a little bit not logical. If we send a request or an offer or anything, the enemy, the foreign king receives it immediately, but then it takes our diplomats some time to actually come back from the foreign capital to ours. So you can see here, it takes us the 2 days or 3 days for our guys to come back. On the top corner here, you can see one guy returned, either the one from Morocco or from Portugal. In the last episode, I talked about issuing embargoes on our rivals. So, if you don't know who our rivals are, click on our country, click the diplomacy screen here. It is Aragon, Morocco and France. We already issued an embargo on Morocco, so we're going to issue an embargo here on Aragon. The issue embargo thing is in the economy actions group. click it, send it with C, and unpause and wait for the other diplomat to come back, and do the same thing in France. You can see they immediately embargo it, but because Paris is quite far away from Toledo, our capital, it takes them some time to come back, 9 days. From Valencia to Toledo it's only 1 day, so this guy will be available now. Good, what else can we do? Our mission is to secure a royal marriage with Portugal. We have to wait a little bit longer for that. So there's only really one thing left for us to do, that is to look at our fleet. You can see here there are 2 icons, that means there are 2 fleets, one of 11 ships, one of 8 ships. The more interesting here is the 8-ship fleet. It consists of 8 light ships. There are 4 different ship types: heavy ships, light ships, galleys, and transports. They all serve a different purpose. Transports are very weak in combat and are slow, but one transport can transport 1,000 men, i.e. 1 regiment. This is very important also for Castile, because we are somewhat involved into naval warfare and naval transportation for that matter, and so we need the transports. Galleys are warships who are used in inland seas. This is, for instance, the whole Mediterranean with the Black Sea here, the whole Baltic Sea. And on open seas, they are very weak. They get a bonus to combat ability in inland seas. If we hover over any province, also the sea is differentiated into provinces. If we hover over, for instance, the Western Mediterranean, it says, this is an inland sea, galleys will be more efficient here, performing at a higher level in combat. The other warship is the heavy ship, which is made for high sea naval warfare, for instance in the middle of the Atlantic, and also in coastal areas where there is no inland sea. You can see here, Côte d'Argent, I'm so bad at French, I don't know, Quiberon Bay. Here there is no bonus for galleys, so in an inland sea maybe 4 galleys will win against 1 heavy ship, but that's not the case in an open sea. You say 4 galleys, okay. I said 4 galleys, pardon. Galleys are much cheaper than heavy ships. They have a different cost if you build them. And heavy ships are the most expensive one. They cost the most building cost. They have the highest maintenance, but are the strongest ships, of course. They can't do anything except fighting, and this guy can't do anything against but transporting. But it can fight, but it's very weak. The 4th ship and most interesting one to me personally is the light ship. It can fight, maybe a little bit more efficiently than the transport, but definitely weaker than a galley or a heavy ship. But it can perform other actions. For instance, protect trade. That means we have to cover trade. Therefore we will click the trade map mode, which gives us a whole different view on the world. It shows us trade nodes. For instance, here's Sevilla, here's Genoa, here's Bordeaux, here's Safi and Tunis, and so forth. Trade is for many nations the most important source of income. If you have a look at our income, we get quite a bit of taxation, not so much of production, a little bit about gold, and also big amount of trade. We can push this income of trade with a little bit of maneuvering so that it surpasses the taxation income. Especially later in the game, trade becomes more and more important. Okay, we're talking about trade. Every nation has a home trade node. This is where the capital of the nation lies. We already mentioned the capital is, by the way, this crown symbol. Our capital is Toledo, the city or the county or the province of Toledo, and you can see it lies in the Sevilla trade node. So let's click on the trade node of Sevilla. Every trade node has a ledger. And here you can see the powers that share power in the trade node. Portugal has 49%, we have 38%, Granada has 6%, and Morocco has 7%. What does it mean? Every trade node generates income, and we generate income automatically in a trade node where our capital lies, so in this case Sevilla, and we gain money in proportion to our trade power. So for instance, Portugal has more trade power here, so they get more trade money per turn. We have a little bit less, so we get a little bit less of money. Here you can actually see how much income we get from trade. It's 7.93, so our power of 38% means that we get those nearly 8 ducats a month. The 37% here are the same as shown here. This is the actual worth of the trade node. You can see 9.5. If you compare it to another trade node, it's more valuable than Bordeaux, it's more valuable than Genoa. So we have quite a wealthy trade node, and you can see Tunis is just crap. Also Safi has very little money. Sweet music in the background. Okay. Trade power, right. Trade is a quite complicated matter, and I don't want to delve too deeply into it. I just want you to understand the basics and how to get the most money out of it. I mentioned before that barks can protect trade. This is their main goal. And one of those actions here, namely the upright action here, protect trade, we're gonna click. Then we can send the fleet to one of those trade nodes. Sevilla is our own trade node. And the coat of arms shown here is the power that has the most power. The power that has the most power in this trade node, namely Portugal. We send it there, and we hope that we can turn the table around and make Castile the nation with the most power in this trade node. So they will automatically protect trade, we don't have to do anything. They will just drive their ships, sail their ships through here and protect trade. Protecting trade, I don't know what exactly that means, maybe pirate hunting, maybe securing trade opportunities, something like that. You just have to use your fantasy about here. Okay, we did everything we have to. Well, let's talk a little bit about more about trade. We have merchants, which are some kind of agents, same as colonists, diplomats and missionaries. And if we once again click the trade map mode, we can see that we sent the merchants to Safi and Genoa. That means that they try to secure, I don't know, trade opportunities, trade alliances, trade agreements in this trade node, which means that some of the trade worth will flow to us. You can see all those arrows here that indicate the flow direction that the trade worth takes. Sevilla has the luck to be an end node. That means that no trade can actually flow away from Sevilla, only to Sevilla. If we click on it and click over incoming, we can see, okay, trade from Tunis, Safi, Ivory Coast, Caribbean and Genoa comes into Sevilla and none leaves it. Outgoing, 0. We have no outgoing. If we click Tunis here, they have incoming from Katsina and have some outgoing trade power due to merchants steering trade away from this. You of course don't want this. You want more trade value. I said trade worth, it's actually called trade value. Trade value in this province. We have 9.5 and it's not an outgoing province. So we have a very good and strong trade node. Bordeaux is also very strong. If we zoom a little bit out, we can see that Lübeck with 15.7 and English Channel with 14.4 are the most valuable ones. Constantinople is also rich. Venice is rich. Others like, I don't know, Aleppo are very poor. Either due to the fact that there is much trade steered away. You can see, count this up, it's much more than there's actually in this trade node. If you can see here, more than 75% of the trade node trade value gets pulled away from this node. And other trade nodes are just poor because they have no trade goods that are valuable in this province. For instance, the White Sea here generates all in all only 0.85 trade value. Because there are few provinces and all those provinces have little trade power, but more to the provinces later. Let's go back to trade. This is the default. The game set it so that we have to... Our merchants steer trade from Safi and Genoa. Now have a look. Safi has only one outgoing like trade node. That is to our trade nodes of Sevilla. If we look at Tunis, they have two outgoing directions, namely Sevilla and Genoa, and at this point everything goes to Genoa. We don't want that. Genoa is owned by France, Provence, Aragon and Genoa. So we can send a merchant here and try to steer some of the trade to this direction, to us. Let's transfer trade and select the guy that is in Safi. Now the guy here vanished, he will move up there, which takes 14 days. Then he will be there and steer trade, and we'll have a look at that later on. So we can actually increase our speed here. That means that if we have a look at the time here, time passes by rather quickly. I most of the time play with speed 3, you can speed 5 up, this is very fast. You can see here, and 2 is somewhere in the middle. Maybe 1 second, 1 day, or a little bit less. You always want to have your diplomats doing something. Either, I don't know, doing something. They don't want to be idle. On a opposite to the missionaries. The missionaries are most of the time idle. They can't do very much. Okay, I think we have rivaled or issued embargo to every one of our rivals. This is good. Let's go back to trade for a second. This reduces, for instance, here the power that Morocco has. The actual trade power is summed up by most complicated mathematics as a combination of trade power due to merchants and ships, then trade power that is generated by our provinces we have in the node, and this trade power modifiers. If we hover over Morocco, there it says embargoed by Castile minus 17.4%. You can see it actually has an effect on the trade power. Castile has plus 9%, and Portugal has more bonuses here. Oh my god. I just realized something. You can see here luck. Do you see this luck plus 10%? I must have selected historical. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're playing on historical luck. I hate it. But nevertheless, apparently it happened. And one of the bonuses for lucky nations is that they get more trade power. Crap. Whatever. I don't want to achieve anything in this episode here. I just want to show you the gameplay. And therefore it's not too important if Portugal enjoys some historic luck. Okay. Let's recall what was our mission to secure a royal marriage with Portugal. We have to wait until December 12th. So let's do this. 11, 12. You can see, now everything is green again. We can send a marriage offer. Which will do something which will decrease our legitimacy because we have higher prestige than they do. And it will give us legitimacy because we have marriages. We improve the relations with them. And we can maybe get more babies out of it. Let 2 days pass. And we gain the diplo power and the prestige out of it. Which are displayed. And of course Portugal offered the same marriage here. We're gonna decline. Ah, god. We could just have waited. Now, there are the same old missions and become papal controller. Okay, there is a papacy and there is some stuff going on, but we're going to blend this out for now. It's too much for the beginning. Either improve our prestige or finish the Reconquista. I especially like the historical, the flavor missions, and finish the Reconquista is one of the flavor missions for Castile. As long as there is still a city in Hispania ruled by the infidels, we cannot stop our holy mission. We need to liberate the entire Iberian Peninsula from the Moors. Moors. It will give us a bonus to lose 4 war exhaustion and 15 army tradition. Those are actually numbers who have something to do with warfare. We'll come to that later. The objectives is that we have to own those 3 provinces. They're currently owned by Granada, our enemy. If we zoom out, it's Granada. We have a look at religion. They are indeed Muslims, so they're considered infidels. Our two armies here have combined, and with the G key, or with this button here, we can merge them into one mighty army. So far so good. We always want to select a leader for our army. This will give them bonuses and lets them integrate less likely. We have one general available here, Alvaro de Luna, and we just left click on him and he'll have the general. This small icon here shows that the army is led by a decent general. Our 8 ships are somewhere around here protecting trade. They will just keep their ships in this area here and protect trade. We have furthermore 5 heavy ships and 6 transports. We'll just let them here for now. Great. Nothing much to do. Okay, now we have a mission to take those provinces, you say, so why don't attack those guys immediately? If you remember, we still have a truce with Granada for 4 more years. Now, we could attack them. The first of all diplomatic actions is the declare war mission button. We can actually click on it before declaring it, and it will show here, if we declare war, it will give us 5 stability hits. We have a stability of 0 now, so it will be there. It can't get lower below -3 and above +3, but having negative stability is very bad. You never want to do that. It will give us +5 war exhaustion, which is also very bad, and a huge aggressive expansion. This basically says how pissed other nations will be at us when we declare on them. And because we're breaking a truce, which is considered very dishonorable, they will hate us forever and much and all the time. But you can see here, before we actually could declare war, clicking here, we have to select a casus belli. This means reason for war, freely translated from Latin, and says, okay, what is the reason you're attacking? Take core, one of those 3 provinces. Okay, take core. Core means something interesting, right? Okay. Let's click here on the diplomatic map mode, and those green stripes on foreign territory means that we have a core on this province. The concept of cores will come later too. That means at some point maybe this land has been owned by us, or we have a very, very strong claim to this land. Nobody can be really pissed at us if we declare war over our own cores. That means that it's basically our land just taken by some foreign power. If we click on the province here and go to cores and claims, it shows that both Granada and Castile have a core on it. So basically we have the same claim strength to this land here, Almeria or Maria, as Granada. Just Granada is in control of it, but if we wrestle it from them, we have the same claim here. Not so much, for instance, about Alicante. If we were to attack Aragon and take Alicante, we have no claim and no core on it. A claim is weaker than a core. A claim can be made into a core after that. Because if you are a Total War player or a player of other strategy games, it's most of the time not that difficult to gain clay or land or territory by just attacking, but just attacking and conquering a province isn't everything in EU4. It's a long path until we finally own some foreign clay, former foreign clay. If you see 2 stars here, I just saw that means that there is still one general in this army, but he's much stronger. Here, leader, you can see in the ledger, he has 3 fire, 3 shock, 3 maneuver and 0 siege value. That means he's very strong at fighting from a distance, from close in melee, and maneuvering means running around on the map and stuff. Okay, let's unpause. We have 2 diplomats and pause again. We have 2 diplomats here, and before I said we always want to do something with them. Okay, what could we do? We can improve relations with a country. Relations means how they like us, how much we like them. There's an also map mode, the opinion map mode. If you click on it, it shows us, okay, red, alright. Morocco hates us for 175 negative reasons. They really despise us. On the other hand, Portugal likes us for 126 positive reasons. They have a high opinion of us. And this works for every country. If you click on the Ottomans, it shows the situation for them. Lithuania hates them, Tlemcen likes them. If you click on Aragon, we hate them, they hate us, that's fair. France hates England, England hates France. Burgundy hates both, and also Austria. So, you get the concept. Improving relations means, okay, they like us more. They are less likely to attack us if you are afraid that, for instance, oh, I'm so poor, I'm so weak, Aragon might declare war on me. You can improve relations. It could help to decrease the likelihood of them attacking us. Here it actually shows a sword, which means they have rivaled us. And therefore they don't like us. You can see the different modifiers, minus 75 reasons for rivalry. Good. We also can fabricate a claim. I've talked about claims earlier. If we say, okay, Castile has a right on Alicante, we can forge some documents and bribe some local officials, go to the diplomacy screen, go to the covert actions, fabricate claim, then we could select Alicante, and it takes some time, but we can fabricate a claim on it. And over this claim, we then can declare a war with the casus belli of conquering Alicante. This is the way warfare works. It's rather complicated. You can just, well, you can just declare war with no casus belli, where this will also give us heavy penalties here. Aggressive expansion, stability hits, and war exhaustion. Okay, let's talk a bit about general things before we actually I don't know, maybe unpause the game for a bit. Here, you can see Navarra, or Nafarroa, how they call themselves, with the capital of Pamplona. They're a very small nation. And there are two things how you can increase your empire. Well, there are a bit more things, but for now there are two things. Either conquest or vassalization. Vassalization means that this nation will cease to exist as an independent nation and will become our vassal. This is basically a peaceful way to expand. For that, we have to have different factors. If we look at the here, influence actions, we could offer them a vassalization and they even would accept. Look at this. They have only positive reasons to accept it. They like us, we are strong, we are big, we have a high diplo reputation, we have trust, we're trustworthy, so forth. Problem is, we have to have a military alliance, a relation of plus 190. At the moment it's 35 or 38. And the target country must be at peace. So we want to improve relations with them for quite a bit. We can improve relations up to plus 100. Here it ticks plus 4 per month. It can also tick less per month if there's already a high opinion of them. And the maximum positive and negative relation is 200. Either 200 minus or 200 plus. And 190 so is basically the maximum. So they really have to love us to become our vassals. Although they would technically become our vassals already, they still have to like us, I don't know, more. This is only the theoretical concept here. You get the point. The other option I mentioned is conquest through war, and we're gonna do that, but not now, because later, because we have a truce. So let's unpause. We can also improve relations with our ally, Portugal. Why not? But before we can do that, we actually have to let another month pass. 13. So the end of a month or the beginning of the next month is very important. That's the time where money is given to us, where units that are depleted are refilled, and everything else important happens. But unfortunately the time already has run out. We have played for 2 months now, quite exactly, and I hope you will bear with me for a few more turns, a few more years, a few more episodes. For now, I thank you all for watching, and I hopefully see you in the next episode.